Good morning, everyone. I'm Glenn Hall, and I am your platform host today. Please stand and join us as we sing our opening song, See God in Every Face.
We come together to behold the power of love, the power of light. We come together to behold. We are divine. Lift up our hands, lift up our hearts, oh, lift up our vision, lift it to the stars. Dance in the glory, whirl in the grace. See God in every face. See God in every face. We come together to behold the power of love, the power of light. We come together to behold. We are divine. Lift up our hands, lift up our hearts, oh, lift up our vision, lift it to the stars. Dance in the glory, whirl in the grace. See God in every face. See God in every face. We come together to behold the power of love, power of light. We come together to behold. We are divine. Lift up our hands, lift up our hearts, oh, lift up our vision, lift it to the stars. Dance in the glory, whirl in the grace. See God in every face. 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 Hey!
What a fun song. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster on this glorious, glorious Sunday. It is wonderful to see you all here and to see new faces and celebrate life with you all. If you are joining us online, welcome. From all of us here, we turn and say a very warm welcome to you from all of us to all of you. And if you are watching us online, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and giving us a like. All that stuff actually matters because it helps us to become more visible to the world. So please, please subscribe and like our channel. I am Reverend Rhona Segarra, and it is my pleasure, my privilege, and my honor to be the minister, the official minister at this community of love and support. And the reason I say that is to remind each one of us that we are all ministers, that each one of us have a ministry. And so I may have the title, but we all have a role. And so I am so glad to see you all here. The Unity movement, and here at Unity of New Westminster in particular, we offer ideas for full and abundant living. These ideas are empowering ideas that you might consider to decide whether or not they could apply in your life and add to the joy and feeling of abundance and completion in your life. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom to be found in faith traditions all over the planet, that there is wisdom to be found in our life experiences, in story and in song, in poetry, in prose, in our everyday life. We honor every person's right to choose their own life path, which is the same as a spiritual path, because there is no difference. We honor every person's right to choose their path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. Let us begin our service in a time of reflective and centering prayer. We begin by acknowledging with gratitude that we are on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Kakite First Nation. And we give thanks for First Nation peoples everywhere in this land, for their custody and love for Creator. We believe there is only one power, one intelligence, one creative energy. That creative energy is understood by many names and many faces. In the Western tradition, we call that divine energy God. And in other traditions and other faiths, that creative energy is understood with other names. But by whatever our understanding is for the one power, we believe it is only one, that there is no spot, that God is not. And that leads to our understanding that that must include us. That each one of us is an expression of that creative energy. And that as that creative energy, and in that creative energy, we are all connected. We are all one. And it is from that awareness that we extend a blessing for love, for peace, for contentment, for healing, to every being on this planet. We open our hearts and imagine our love expanding out of our bodies, out of this building, and into the world. That all may know that they matter and that they are not alone. And for this power, for this intention, and for our willingness to see God in every face, we are so grateful. Amen.
Today I'd like to read the daily word for Sunday, July 30th. It's called Wonder. I view my life through eyes of wonder. I feel inspired watching a young child discovering new things, eyes wide with awe and wonder. Even the smallest experiences, feeling the tickle of a butterfly on the skin or blowing the seeds of a dandelion, are a marvel and a joy. I think of this when disappointing life experiences chip away at my sense of awe and appreciation. Today, I let go of disillusionment and open my heart and my eyes to once again live in wonder. As I view life anew, I renew my belief in the goodness of life and of all people. I open myself to the unexpected treasures happening all around me each day. Wonder is a precious gift, one I use to appreciate the marvels unfolding before me. And the scripture reading is from Acts chapter 3, verse 10. They were filled with wonder and amazement at what had happened to him.
Okay, so this song is a song that most of you might know, so if you want to sing along with it, have some fun with it. Yeah, it's kind of an appropriate song for now. As soon as it starts up. This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, then we shall be free. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within, when the skies and the oceans are clean again, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pew, then we shall be free. Yeah, we shall be free. We shall be free. Have a little faith and hold out, 'cause we shall be free. And when money talks for the very last time, and nobody walks a step behind, and there's only one race, and that's mankind, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, have a little faith. We shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. We shall be free. straight and hold out, we shall be free. Thank you.
I have never heard that song before. Has anyone heard it before? A few people. I know. Cliff says he's heard it 100 times. Might just be because he's married to Lyle. And today is their 12th wedding anniversary. So congratulations, Cliff and Lyle. That's a divine number, right? A dozen. Yeah. Yeah. Now we're going to look for the baker's dozen next year. Well, let's move into a time of quiet. As we consider the idea of freedom, I invite you to close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Rest them gently if it is not. And then become aware of your breath. Just notice your breath. Notice how it breathes in and out. Bringing life, cleansing in this ebb and flow. And as you become more aware of your breath, allow your body to relax. Gently scan your body from the top of your head down through your toes. And notice any place that feels a little tense. And imagine breathing into that space. And then breathing out from that space. And now bring attention to your heart. Imagine breathing from there, from the center of your chest. If your mind is busy, allow it to be busy. And instead, choose to sink beneath. Beneath all those ideas and thoughts that sometimes never seem to stop. Come to your heart. Give yourself this gift, the gift of a peace-filled pause. And hear these words as if they are yours. Heaven is a place that happens here in my mind. It is the place where I am happy, when I am free to love, where I am free to express who I am. It is a place of peace. I imagine the freedom I could feel today if I could know that I am okay, just the way I am. I imagine the freedom that I would feel if I could know that mistakes that I've made in the past are not mistakes at all. That those experiences that I've labeled as mistakes have also brought gifts. They have brought me to the life I have today. I imagine the freedom of knowing that life is change. And that I do not need to define myself by those so-called mistakes. Instead, I allow myself to change, to evolve, to step into a new definition of me. And I know that I am okay right here, right now, unfolding and evolving and living in this amazing experience called life. Life is about what is happening now. And I am free to live. I am free to love. I am free to forgive. And I am free to move forward. I am free. I hold that idea in silence. I am free.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu es l'image de Dieu. I hold you in my heart. Tu es l'image de l'amour. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu sei la luce di Dio. I hold you in my heart. Tu sei il volto dell'amore. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are the face of love, the face of love. I hold you in my heart, you in my heart. You are my family, you are my family. You are the face of love, the face of love. You are the face of God, the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God, the face of God. You are the face of God. Eres la luz de Dios. I hold you in my heart. Eres la cara del amor. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. 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 La luce di Dio. You are the face of God. Of God. You are the face of God. L'image de Dieu. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. La luz de Dios. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of
before I talk about the slide that's up on the screen, I want you to consider that song. And next time you hear it, or if you're hearing it throughout the day, as sometimes these songs get stuck in our heads, I want you to try and sing it to yourself, to all of the aspects of yourself. The parts you like, those are easy to say you are the face of God. But try saying it to the parts of yourself that you're not that proud of, too. Because they, too, are the face of God. This is my invitation to you to actually play on your phone during a Sunday service. If you have the app, which you can download from the Play Store or from scanning that QR code, then one of the things that's really nice about the app is the very second thing on that app. The first one is welcome. The second one is add notes. And it is an opportunity for you to click on today's service and type notes that you might want to keep. And that way you can download them to your phone or you can email them to yourself, because often what happens is insights will appear for you and you think, I'm going to remember that. And it's just like a dream, you know. I know I'm going to remember this dream, and then 10 minutes later you've completely forgotten it. Well, this is your invitation to please feel free to use your phone and download the app. All right. There's other things on there too, of course. You can get the Zoom links and you can re-watch videos and learn about us and see previous services. But the reason I'm putting it here is to encourage you to take notes. I called today's talk, Baby, You Can Drive My Car, Your Car. Getting the Beatles mixed up in there. Baby, you can drive your car and I'll drive mine. And it's a bit of a follow-up on the talk I did last week, where I talked about sharing the road and staying in our own lane. And using the idea of cars and vehicles and as a metaphor for our own lives, that we're each essentially our car and that we're on a journey. And as the week went by, it just felt like there was so much more insight to this idea of using the car as a metaphor for each one of us, that I decided to add a little bit more to it. And so at our Wisdom Wednesday discussion on the past Wednesday night, one of the participants, who I got permission from her to repeat this story, we were talking about this idea of what does it feel like when you're on the road and somebody cuts you off? How has that experience happened for you? And I see some laughter already in the room. And Marlo, who used to attend Unity of White Rock, told the story of how she was driving on the highway and somebody cut her off, and it just bugged her so much. She was irritated, she was angry, she was frustrated, and she decided that she was going to catch up to that guy, and the next opportunity she could get, she was going to give him the finger. I'm sure a few of us can relate. So it turns out that eventually they did get to a place where she was able to make connection with him. And she said, and I thought, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm going to give him the finger. And so she said, this is what I did. And I just thought it was amazing. Because what she said after is, I felt so much better. Better than she would have felt if she had done the read between the lines. And I just thought it was such a great story that I asked her permission to share it with you today. And I want us to think about the idea of us being in that car and our lives being our life is a highway, as Tom Cochrane said in his song. And the idea of our tendency to veer into someone else's lane, which potentially can cut them off, as well as our awareness that there are times that people will come into our lane and try to do things that aren't theirs to do. And of course, the reason I chose this title is because of the Beatles song, Baby, You Can Drive My Car, Yes, I'm Gonna Be a Star. Baby, you can drive my car, and maybe I'll love you. Just had to throw that in there because it's the Beatles, so you got to throw it in there. Think for a moment, though, of the consequences of following too closely, of veering into someone's lane, of moving too fast on the highway or moving too slow on the highway. Think of what happens if we're driving and any of those things happen. Don't we feel anxiety and a tendency to be nervous and frustrated and irritated and wanting a certain amount of vengeance? And at sometimes, depending on how bad that cutoff is and how irresponsible that other driver may appear, we may even wish them harm. We feel pressured. Sometimes when somebody, especially when they're coming into our space, we don't know what to do. We may feel intimidated. We may feel shaken, uncertain about our competence. And at its very extreme, we may actually get run off of our course. We may cut someone else off. They may cut us off. It could be that we have some serious harm that gets done. And even if it's just what they call a near miss, which I always think is a strange word because really it was a near hit. But in the industry, when there's an accident that almost happens, they call it a near miss rather than a near hit. But even if it is this near miss, then there could be some post-traumatic stress that we experience later as we continue. Our hearts race. We're afraid. We're nervous. We can't think straight. Well, the same applies to our non-driving lives, doesn't it? Whether we find that we're veering into someone else's lane or they're veering into ours, these same consequences appear. that we get upset, we get angry, we are uncertain about how we should proceed. We're not sure what to do. We feel powerless. We know something isn't right, and we feel shaken. And at times, we have that same long-term effect. That PTS, again, I wouldn't say it's a disorder, it's an experience, a post-traumatic stress experience. Now think about what would happen, envision, what would happen if we all stayed in our lane and continued in our journey safely. Not veering into someone else's lane, trusting that we know how to avoid when they come into ours. Now we're in a place where we can drive feeling calm, where we can enjoy the journey. There's a sense of competence, both for ourselves and trust that others have that as well. We might even get to the part where we connect with other drivers with a smile as they pass us or as they pass us or we pass them. There's a sense of, we've got this. We're all in this together. We're sharing the road, and we're flowing. Again, I'm talking about cars, and we can see how the same thing applies in our lives. That when each of us is flowing in our own life, minding our own business and allowing others to mind theirs, that things can flow and be calm. And there's the sense of, we've got this. A sense of mutual respect. A sense of mutual competency. A sense of love and joy, that connection with a smile. Eye connection. And so what I'd like to talk about in a little bit of detail now is the idea of two areas. One is when we are the person who is in our car, and one when someone else, and we have this danger and start tending into someone else's lane. And the other is when we're driving along and somebody tends to come in our lane. In both cases, I'm going to use an acronym. And the acronym is, let's make sure it's on here, CAR. I want us to think in terms of catch, and then allow, and then respect. When we veer out of our lane, the first thing we want to do is catch ourselves doing that. And last week I spoke about the idea of rumble strips. You know, when you're driving and there are markings on the side of the road, sometimes they're like yellow or red. Other times they're just the actual pavement, but they're like ridges. And when you veer into somebody else's lane, or you're veering off your path, they will wake you up with this da-da-da-da-da, this shuddering effect. Well, what we want to do is catch these rumble strips, catch when we are veering out of the lane. And what are the warning signs that we're about to do that? Well, in a car, of course, the shuddering is a physical sound and experience. But when we're doing it with people or groups, then it's not always so easy to notice those rumble strips, but they are there. And what they look like is people choosing to cut off from you. People choosing to walk away. People not quite so willing to tell you everything, and maybe not willing to disclose, or even going so far as to lie. These are signs that you are threatening somebody else's sense of safety. And you may be treading in waters that you don't belong. Or, to keep my analogy going, moving into their lane. So catch yourself. Look at people's reactions. Catch it. And then allow. Now, in cars, of course, every car on the road is a different color and a different shape and a different model and has different capacities. And in many ways, they're all so different. And yet, in fundamental ways, they're all the same. They get us from point A to point B. They have a couple of doors or 4 doors. They have 4 wheels for the most part. There are some goofy-looking cars out there with 3, but 4. And that's also a reminder for us. Because isn't it true that we all come in different colors and shapes and sizes? That we all come different. And yet each one of us has the same 206 bones in the adult body. The same experience of birth and life and death. The same color of blood. And in real life, when we look at a car that's different from ours, we don't judge that car. We don't say, oh, well, it's red, therefore I'm not going to talk to it, or I'm not going to share the road. We allow differences. So let us allow differences for ourselves. We do not need to move into someone else's lane and try to encourage that car to go faster or slower. We don't know where the car has been. We don't know where the car is going. We don't know what the resources are within that car. We don't know how well it was taken care of. But we do know that cars can change how they behave even on the same day, depending on whether they're warmed up and how well they're lubricated and so on. And so what do we do if we are wanting to have a calm road? We allow the car to do its thing and we keep our eye on our GPS. Some people call that God positioning system. On the thing that matters to us, our goals, not somebody else's. Have you noticed how easy it is, though, to see what everyone else needs to do and how they all should get to where they're going? And I honestly think that part of that is a way to protect us from our own feeling of, ooh, am I going to get there? But that's for another talk. We have this prideful tendency to think that our way is the only right way. And each one of us has that tendency. And so I just remind you of that acronym, We Are Right. War. Whenever we're in a place where we think that our way is the only right way, then we are in an energy of war. Allow instead. And then respect. If we can believe and trust that every driver on the road has earned their right to be there through testing and safety inspections and so on, then let us just treat each car with the respect that it likely deserves. And let that be true for us as humans in our everyday experiences as well. Because, as we say in Unity, there is only one power. There is no spot that God is not. Each person is a face of God. Can we trust that each person has intelligence and wisdom, is able to change, is able to adapt? Are we able to do unto others as we would have them do unto us? Because there are times when we've been that crazy person going too fast, have we not? Because if I am late one more time, I'm going to lose my job. Or my wife is having a baby, I need to get to the hospital. Or my beloved is in the hospital and passing, and I need to get there. We don't know the stories. But we know that there have been times when we've been the exception to the rule, because for the most part, everybody does really well on the road. And when they don't, maybe it's because they're experiencing an exception too. And then, as part of respect, let us be accountable. There are times when we will veer into another person's lane. It's going to happen because we care about them and we don't want them to get hurt, so we're going to try and protect them. Or we see exactly what they need to do to be better, and so we're going to tell them. And with any luck, they'll give us a finger. Maybe a hand. And when we come to ourselves and realize it, let's go to that other vehicle and apologize. And resolve to do it better next time. Very briefly, how do we stop people from coming into our lane? Walt asked the question last week. You didn't talk about the horn. When do we lay on the horn? Well, here's a place where we lay on the horn, and we use that exact same acronym. catch. When you notice that someone is coming into your lane, catch it. How do you know it? In human form, we see it with dis-ease, a sense of discomfort, a sense of ooh, a sense of ick. Something doesn't feel right. There's a rumbling as they veer into the lane. And we actually experience the rumble strip this way as well. So catch it. And then allow for their poor behavior, because guess what? There will be poor behavior. Now, I'm not saying allow the behavior. I'm saying allow for the behavior. Make allowances for the fact that none of us are perfect, and just as we have strayed into other people's lanes, there are times when they will stray into ours. Think of the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses as we have forgiven those who trespass against us. I love the literal idea of trespass. I think it's very, very powerful. And so when we see this happening, make allowance for it, because then you won't be so shocked. Think of it as defensive driving. And then, respectfully, lay on the horn. And by that, I don't mean lay on the horn. I'm just doing that for dramatic effect, if you will. But respectfully, tap the horn, flash the lights, gently put on the brakes, hold up your hand. And respectfully request that they go back to where they are in their own space. And the reason I say respectfully is because if it's not respectful, then chances are what you're going to have is, oh yeah, well, I'll show you, and I'll show you. And we get this collision. And what is more powerful? Well, Jesus said it when he said, when you walk, if someone compels you to walk 1 mile, go with them 2. Keep your power. They come into your lane, ask them to leave. And if they don't, and it continues, then you may choose to have a different discussion. And we've all had those discussions. And it may include choosing a different path. And if that happens, again, do it respectfully. If there must be disengagement, then do it with dignity. I subscribe, or don't subscribe, but I'm on the email list for Quora. Have you ever heard of Quora? It's like people ask questions and then they post answers. And I opened my email last night after I sent out the order of service at after 11 o'clock, anyhow. And what was in my email, it's too long for me to read the whole thing, but it basically starts with, I'm a good driver, but I pulled right out in front of this guy who, of course, leaned on his horn hard. I thought it was so interesting that I was just working on this, and that was the email that I got. And this person goes on to say that they got into the parking lot, and sure enough, the same guy was there, and he came towards her, and she basically, I'll read it. I braked, threw it into reverse, came up beside him, rolled down my window, and just listened. I let him rant. Learn how to effing drive for F's sake. It's not quite like that in here. That was probably the nicest thing he said in all of it. When he was done, I said in an even tone that I've perfected for escalations at home, you have a right to be pissed. I cut you off. I'm really sorry. I'm usually a pretty good driver, but that was a really stupid mistake. I'm sorry I put us both in danger. The guy didn't know what to say. He was expecting a fight. So instead of this, he got this. He sort of stuttered, still mad, but visibly trying to process what I just said. Then I said, the woman says, thank you for being on the ball and saving us both today with your quick reflexes. He literally mumbled, geez, just be careful. And then he walked away. Later on, they're both in the grocery store. And this guy comes and taps her on the shoulder. And this is her quote. It's the angry dude. Only he isn't angry. He's humble. He says, you said sorry to me, but I am the one who owes you an apology. I had a really bad morning. Some bad news at work. Thank you for reminding me that everyone makes mistakes, including me. I acted really SH*TTY, calling you names and stuff. I'm really sorry. Isn't that a lovely story? Catch yourself. Allow for mistakes. And treat each other respectfully, which includes telling the truth, being accountable. In this way, we can remember that we can ride our car and allow others to ride theirs. Baby, you can drive your car. I'll drive mine. I bless you.
Well, thanks, Rhona. That was wonderful. That was beautiful, actually. I really needed it. I might have touched the wrong song here, so we'll soon find out. No, you were good. I've got a never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd have a never-ending love for you. I've got a never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd have a never-ending love for you. After all this time of being alone, we can love one another, feel for each other from now on. Feels so good, I can hardly stand it. Never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you. The first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you. I've got a never-ending love for you. Hey, great, thanks, guys. You guys have had so much fun.
Wow, that's pretty hard to follow. But thank you, and thank you. Okay, here are the announcements for this week. On Monday, meditation and prayer service has moved to a mixed format, in person and on Zoom. Please join us on Zoom tomorrow from 10:30 until 11:15 for Monday meditation. If you would like your name added to the prayer list, or if you want to add someone's name to the list, please fill in a prayer request slip and place it in the offering basket, or send us an email, or submit a prayer request on our website, on our app. Please note that this week there will be no Wisdom Wednesday discussion meeting. We'll meet again a week from Wednesday. Today is the last Sunday of the month, and we celebrate the birthdays in the month on the last Sunday of each month. We also have amazing potluck lunches, so please join us today for food and birthday cake. And after the potluck, please plan to stay for Cindy's Creative Cafe and karaoke. Yeah. This event also happens on the last Sunday of each month. Stay to sing karaoke or paint or draw, sing, tell a story, or express yourself artistically in some way. Admission is by donation. If you want to paint the cost is $10 to pay for the materials. Here's your chance to connect with friends and share your talents and learn something new. Join us every Sunday, last Sunday of each month at 12:30 to 3:30, and all are welcome. And thank you, Cindy, for your inspiration. Now, join us next week, August 6th, for Hot Dog Day. We're having free hot dogs and chips, just for fun, and to let you know that we appreciate you. Bring your friends and family so we can appreciate them too. Immediately after the service next week, and Leona, Cash, and Jay Krebs will be our musicians next week, and they're awesome. So it will be an especially fun Sunday celebration. Please mark your calendars for Saturday, August 19th, and come out and support our Pride booth at New Westminster's Pride Festival. For more information, please see Cliff or Lyle. Unity of New Westminster is completely self-funded by the contributions of our community. We are grateful for your gifts which support our ministry. Many of our community contribute with pre-authorized payments, and we are especially grateful for these regular contributions because they help us to remain financially healthy during even the quieter months, such as in the summer. So, if you are not adding anything to the basket, please bless it silently as it passes you. And as we sing our blessing song, please bring to mind something you are grateful for. We are so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Are we ever blessed? Blessed with wonderful platform hosts, with amazing musicians right here in our own community. Thank you. Thank you both. For our audiovisual team, for Cliff, who was on PowerPoint and is now turning the coffee on and putting goodies into the oven, for our greeting team, for the people who are behind the scenes and supporting our community, either here or visiting elders. We are indeed blessed. And thank you all for joining us here today. I'm wondering about just maybe staying in place and reaching across the aisles to hold hands as we sing our blessing song. I always have this discussion with people, and then they're always like, no, let's go in a circle. Circle? Circle, I hear circle. Circle, okay, we're doing a circle. So let's join in a circle and we'll sing our prayer for protection and our peace song. And please do stay for lunch, and let us right now take a moment to bless the food, to bless the hands that have created the food, and to give thanks for it all. We are indeed blessed. Let's move into a circle and sing our peace song. Righto. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Let peace begin with me.
Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God, you are the love of God, you are the power of God, you are the presence of God. Thank you, everyone, for being here. What a blessing you all are.
Nice.
Venice. I was admiring.